have this set up, we need to start working on actual these settings, this setup that we have here, but with the equivalent with our character. That will be, like I say, our 3D representation of what the character looks like when we drop it in the viewport. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my character, and it's going to create here a folder, and that folder is going to hold the sort of main blueprint. So I'm going to go here, my I'll type today my character. I can't, like I said, my character underscore blueprint, and then you're just going to go inside there, right click, create a blueprint class, and then we're just going to go here into pick the parent class. We're going to pick character because character has all the capabilities for an actual character that runs around in the world. So if you read here the tooltip here says that it's a character representation that can walk, jump, fly, or swim through the world. So this will be the one that fits the better to the character that we have. So we click character, we rename it my character underscore blueprint, save all. Now we double click on that, we just save selector, yeah, double click on that. Now we have here the minimum bare components to start creating our character. So if you look at this here, the components that comes with this character, this little sort of enclosure, we have the character movement, which is all this pre-established rules and setting that comes when you that are inherited when you create a object that is from that particular class. In this case, the class is called character and inherits all these features that you can just tweak. Here we have the capsule, which is the sort of the collision of the character. We have here an arrow, which doesn't have much of a doesn't have much use, but it's just it's good because you can sort of rearrange the character to know which direction it should be heading. So it's like a good sort of visual guideline for that. So I'm just going to go here into mesh. That will be here the mesh that we're going to put. At the moment, by default, it just give you, I think it's just a sphere. By default here, something that it's just you can play around. But so what we're going to do is we're going to go and select our own skeletal mesh. So it's going to click here. So we're going to use this character. That's the character we have. And I'm just going to go here and it's going to rotate it so I can fit within the direction of the arrow. Okay, so we got that. So I can probably just move it all the way down here. So it's there. Okay, so now I need to tell this mesh which is the animation, how it's going to be animated. We already created the logic inside the animation blueprint, so we have to go and say here in animation with this selected, the mesh, we tell use animation blueprint, and then we pick here the animation that we want, and this will be the one that we created, which is my character animation blueprint. So as soon as we do that, compile. As soon as we do that, we see that automatically goes to whatever the speed variable was set to at the time. This time, because we haven't triggered anything, we haven't done anything with this, so it's just the moment by default is 0, which is the idle animation. So next thing we need to do is, I think once we do that, we have to start adding the other components. So if we open, let me dock this here, we can analyze the other ones so we can learn from it as well. So we go here, animations, characters, what's the other one? Yeah, I think it's in third person blueprints, third person character blueprint. So here, if you go into the viewport, you can see here that you have all the components that are for this character. So all this comes every time you create that sort of type of instance of character. We have the capsule, the arrow, and the mesh. Now, and this one called pre-built as well. So we have to create these two, camera and the follow camera. So we're going back to that one. And we click here, component. We say spring arm, and then we move it to about around there, the neck. And then with this one selected, we go here, we type camera, and then we add the camera to it. So we can rename this if we want. It's called cam. Boom for now. And now this one is already selected. So we have the camera up there. And if we don't like the way it is, we could just go and move it up if we want, and if you want you can just rotate it. Stay for that for now. We have now the camera, we have this component. Now what we have to do is now let's go check this out. So now in the cam or the spring arm, we have to go here into the section that says Undetailed. We need to tick the one that says use pawn control rotation. I think it's use pawn control rotation. We have to tick that. Now we did add the camera already. We parented under the spring arm that we called camera boom, cam boom. So just we position the camera where we want it. At the moment, we just leave it like the way it was. But we can, like I said, we can rotate it. You can aim it however you want. Now, if we go here into class defaults, which is the class in general, we have to uncheck a few things. So I think if you go down the section that says use controller rotation dual, we have to uncheck that. In the character movement here, we have to go into we need to look for rotation, so we filter out rotation, type the first few letters rot, and then we need to go to the section that says orient rotation to movement, so we have to tick that, and it's pretty much auto rotate the character based on the movement. So with that checked, we just go and say compile. That's all okay. Now what we have to do now is pretty straightforward. We just to go here into the original blueprint, and then we just go here and select everything. We just go here, copy this, we go into our blueprint, go into the event graph. These are nodes that are created automatically, so you have something to start with. So we're just going to delete it, and we just paste whatever we have there. So if we compile this, it's going to give us an error. And these two errors that comes here is because we don't have those variables created. So this section here is the one that allows you to make the Xbox or the gamepad controller work. So you can move around and then move the camera with this with the right joystick. So what we do is this is as well. They said this is looking for these two variables, but you haven't got it here, so you have to create it. So what you can do is just right click here, you say promote to variable, and then name it as it is here. This one we just created, which is base turn rate. Base turn rate, just like there, respecting the capital because it's case sensitivity. It's case sensitive, but make sure that they don't have any space between them. So we go base turn rate. So we compile that. Did you see that the error disappear? The same goes with this. So we go here, we get promote to variable, and we call it this base lock up rate. And we compile. Still give us the error. Maybe that'll be a typo. Base lock up rate. No, it's not log, it's look. Compile that. Now it's fine. So in this one here, according to the template, you have to give it like a starting point, a number. So I think the number that appears there is 45 on both of them. And I think this number is a multiplier to see how fast it changes from one side to another. So here set, we're just going to delete it because they are created automatically when we turn those into variable. So we compile that, you see no errors, so it's fine. So now we are ready to go. Now that we have all this, now what we have to do is create the equivalent of this, our game mode, and that's going to be our next tutorial. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you very much. Bye bye.